How to stay focused while studying dark academia ambience. Have you ever sat at your desk with the best intentions, books spread out, a steaming cup of coffee nearby, and pages waiting to be filled, only to find your mind wandering after just a few minutes? You open a book but suddenly notice the glow of your phone, or you try to take notes but end up daydreaming about something else. Staying focused while studying is not easy, but it is one of the most powerful skills you can cultivate. And as we go deeper, you'll discover why mastering focus in this way is more valuable than ever in 2025. Imagine turning your study hours into deeply immersive moments, where concentration flows effortlessly, time slows down, and learning becomes almost poetic. That is the heart of staying focused, especially when paired with the dark, contemplative atmosphere of a dark academia ambience, a space where knowledge feels sacred, and every moment of study connects you with centuries of intellectual tradition. But before we dive in, make sure to smash that like button and subscribe to the channel so you never miss out on our upcoming videos. Now, let's get started. The struggle of focus in a distracted world. We live in a time overflowing with distractions. Notifications pop up every few minutes. Algorithms are designed to keep us scrolling, and multitasking has become a habit rather than an exception. Neuroscience shows that constant interruptions weaken our ability to concentrate, and when our focus fractures, so does our capacity to retain knowledge. It's not that we are incapable of deep focus, it's that our environment often works against us. The dark academia approach to focus. Dark academia is not just an aesthetic of vintage books, candlelight, and classical music. It represents a mindset, romanticizing the pursuit of knowledge, savoring solitude, and treating study as an art rather than a chore. When applied to focus, this mindset transforms studying from something you have to do into something you want to do. Imagine studying by lamplight, with handwritten notes on thick paper, wearing a cozy sweater, and surrounding yourself with books that whisper stories of scholars who came before you. Focus grows naturally when you associate your study time with this atmosphere of meaning and beauty. Setting the scene for concentration. The environment you study in shapes your mental state more than you realize. A cluttered, noisy space makes it harder to sustain attention. By contrast, a calm, organized environment encourages the brain to settle into work. To cultivate focus, create a ritual with your space. This doesn't mean perfection. It means making your desk a place that signals study. Light a candle, brew a warm drink, open a notebook, and place your phone out of sight. Even small rituals, like opening a particular book or playing classical music softly in the background, can act as mental cues that tell your brain, this is the time to focus. The science of deep work. Psychologist Mihaly Csikszentmihalyi described a state called flow. The feeling of being so absorbed in what you're doing that time seems to disappear. Focus thrives when the task challenges you enough to hold your attention, but isn't so difficult that you feel overwhelmed. For studying, this balance means breaking material into manageable sections. Instead of trying to read an entire textbook in one sitting, divide it into smaller goals, one chapter, one set of notes, one essay draft. Each completed step gives your brain a sense of progress, which fuels motivation to continue. The power of study rituals. Rituals anchor your concentration. Scholars throughout history developed habits that mark the beginning of their study sessions. You might pour a cup of tea, sharpen your pencils, or put on instrumental music. Over time, your brain links these actions with focus, making it easier to slip into concentration. A dark academia ritual might include dimming the lights, surrounding yourself with books, and writing with a fountain pen. These small acts carry symbolism. They remind you that studying is not just about productivity, but about immersing yourself in the pursuit of knowledge. Managing distractions with intention. Focus does not come from willpower alone. It comes from designing your environment to minimize distractions. Keep your phone in another room. Use apps that block social media, or study in a library where silence is respected. If distracting thoughts enter your mind, keep a small notebook nearby where you can jot them down. That way, your brain feels reassured you won't forget them, and you can return to studying. Think of this as negotiating with your wandering mind. You acknowledge its distractions, but gently guide it back to the task at hand. The role of timing breaks. Studying for long, unbroken hours rarely leads to effective learning. Cognitive research shows that our brains need intervals of rest to consolidate information. The Pomodoro technique, where you study for 25 minutes and then rest for 5, is a popular method. However, you can adapt it. Perhaps study for 50 minutes, and then take a 10-minute break. During breaks, avoid scrolling your phone. Instead, stretch, make tea, or look out a window. This not only rests your mind, but keeps your study environment aligned with the dark academia spirit, contemplative, mindful, and unhurried. Immersing yourself in the subject. One way to stay focused is to fall in love with what you're studying. If the subject feels dry, try to connect it to something meaningful. If you're reading history, imagine yourself walking through the streets of the past. If you're studying literature, savor the rhythm of the words. If you're solving mathematics, see it as uncovering the hidden patterns of the universe. The more you find beauty in your subject, the more natural your focus becomes. Writing by hand, a forgotten art of focus. Typing is efficient, but writing by hand slows down your thoughts in a way that enhances concentration. Psychologists have found that handwritten notes improve memory retention because they require deeper processing. For dark academia enthusiasts, this method feels natural. Ink on paper, filled margins, and personal annotations bring study to life. It's not just about remembering more, it's about savoring the act of writing, which keeps you anchored in the present. Fueling focus with rest and nourishment. Focus is not just mental, it's physical. Sleep, nutrition, and hydration all shape your ability to concentrate. Lack of rest weakens attention, while steady energy from wholesome food sustains it. Coffee and tea can help, but balance them with water and healthy snacks like fruits or nuts. In the dark academia spirit, think of your body as part of your scholarly lifestyle. Long nights of study feel more romantic when paired with balance rather than exhaustion. The psychology of focused study. The brain loves patterns. By studying at the same time each day, you train your mind to expect focus during those hours. This is known as conditioning, similar to how going to bed at the same time improves sleep. A consistent schedule tells your brain, this is when we study. The more regular your routine, the easier focus becomes, because your brain sees study as a natural rhythm rather than a forced effort. Cultivating patience with yourself. No one stays focused perfectly. Your mind will wander. You may get tired or distracted. Instead of criticizing yourself, practice patience. Focus is like a muscle. It strengthens with practice. Every time you notice your attention drifting and gently bring it back, you're training your brain. Over time, your ability to focus lengthens, and study becomes more rewarding. The dark academia mindset of study. What sets the dark academia approach apart is the way it transforms studying into an experience. Instead of treating it as a task, it becomes a ritual of self-growth, a quiet rebellion against the noisy modern world. You aren't just memorizing information, you are stepping into a tradition of thinkers, poets, and scholars who found beauty in the written word and the pursuit of knowledge. With each page you read, you're part of that lineage. A reflection on why focus matters. Focus is not only about grades or productivity. It's about cultivating presence in a distracted age. When you study with concentration, you practice living fully in the moment, immersing yourself in the texture of knowledge. This skill extends beyond academics. It helps you listen deeply, work meaningfully, and live more attentively. The dark academia ambience reminds us that learning is not only practical but soulful. A gentle closing. As you sit down to study, remember this. Focus is not about forcing yourself into stillness, but about creating conditions where stillness arises naturally. Light the candle, open the book, breathe deeply, and allow yourself to enter the quiet world of learning. With practice, these hours will become the most fulfilling parts of your day. Invitation to continue the journey. If this exploration of staying focused within a dark academia ambience has inspired you, imagine how much more there is to discover. The path of knowledge is endless, and each step brings new beauty. So take this moment as a beginning, not an end. Allow your study sessions to become rituals of focus and self-discovery. And if you wish to journey further with us into ideas, atmospheres, and inspirations that keep your mind sharp and your spirit inspired, stay connected. There is always more to explore, and your place in this community is only just unfolding.